Alright, let me tell you a story about negative energy and how to handle it if there is such a thing. When you're attacked on a daily basis, you start boiling inside and boiling and boiling. And if you don't have an outlet for it, it can take over your life. I got lucky. I was introduced to speed at a very early age. And the adrenaline rush of having to fight for my life transferred into that love of speed. At a very young age, I was traveling on a snowmobile that I'm quite sure was well over 100 miles an hour. If you doubt me, look up the history of the TX 500 free air triple and then put a 60-pound, 50-pound kid on it and turn him loose on a frozen lake and do the calculations if you're so inclined and figure out just how fast that thing might go. Because I don't know. I never looked at the speedometer. I never cared. It was my outlet. It was my thing I did to deal with that boiling and that churning inside that was always there, that threatened, I don't know any better way to put it, to taint my soul. And some of the things that went on were so terrifying in the moment, yet you don't have time to absorb all of that while it's going on. When somebody's stabbing at you with a knife, all you can do is duck and move and shuck and jive. And that's the way it was. But at night, it would all, when things settle down and you're laying in your bed, and especially at that age when I was a kid, it would all start creeping back on me. And every night, I would have these fucked up nightmares. And I never woke up with covers on my bed and the pillow would be thrown across the room, and somebody in the house would say, "Man, you were yelling and screaming and swearing last night and hitting the wall." And that's just the way it was. Because every night I had to face a demon. And he was always there, and he'd always show up as long as that stress was there. And it was always there in one form or another. And he always looked the same. This is a rough representation of the demon that I had to fight on a nightly basis in my dreams. And as he would come after me, he'd say things like that he had to possess my soul and it was his destiny to take control of my life, and it just the weirdest freaking things. And after a while, just like warding off my sister's attacks, because I wasn't allowed to attack her. God forbid she ever had a mark on her when the old man got home. I'd have, he'd have skinned me alive, beat me with a belt. Not that that didn't happen anyway. But every night, I'd have to face this evil bastard. And after a while, I got good at it. And it wore on this monster in my dreams. And eventually, I was able to master him instead of him mastering me. And towards the end of it, he finally submitted to me. And now the little bastard works for me. So when a situation arises that brings back those feelings, that brings back those hair-raising moments, I can put him to work for me. I have done things pissed off that have made people twice my size do a double take and say, man, I couldn't do that. How did you do that? And I never talked about it because that was my little demon working for me. Because once I beat him, I owned his little ass and I took his power. Why did I tell this story? Because that's what the demons of the world are trying to do to the rest of us right now. And if we roll over, we give them our power. If we submit, they own us. But on the other hand, the reverse is true. If we can figure out how to defend ourselves, never give up, and never quit, we own them. And our lives and our destinies are our own, instead of having to be at the mercy of some little bastard who wants to own our souls.